First off, I just want to thank everyone for being here and for everyone here who is making an impact every single day in the lives of those affected with autism. Specifically, I want to thank Senator Menendez. Obviously, I consider him a buddy as well. And I want to thank him on behalf of Autism Speaks as well for having members of Autism Speaks here today to be part of such a magnificent opportunity for our future for individuals with autism. My story with Senator Menendez goes a few years ago, back to 2010, when I had the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. To discuss the Combating Autism Reauthorization Act. For people who don't know what the Combating Autism Reauthorization Act is, Kerry, it's a little shorter. The act passed in 2011, which gave $693 million of federal funding to help the lives of those affected with autism. A few days after the bill passed, Senator Menendez gave me one of probably the best opportunities in my entire life to speak in my hometown of Jersey City on the passing of the Combating Autism Reauthorization Act. And I got to speak at an autism school with Senator Menendez called Regional Day School, which helps in the lives of those affected with autism from the years of 3 to 21. An interesting story happened that day. While I was with so many family members in attendance and so many individuals I was just meeting for the first time, one of the things that many don't know or didn't know at the time was that I also was on the autism spectrum, which later led to a lot of questions afterwards. It's like, you don't have autism and you can never have autism. Like, what is this, Kerry? Are you like pulling a leg? I'm like, no, I'm not. I was just so glad that Senator Menendez gave me that opportunity, because he gave me an opportunity to just come out for the first time as an advocate and to just say that I have autism and I'm here for individuals, to advocate for individuals who are going through the same obstacles that I went through growing up, and hopefully lead to a better day. With that, it's great again to be here today because of the focus on adults with autism. So far in our community, it feels like the popular image of autism for so long in our society has been focused on children with autism. And over the weekend, I heard from someone who actually helped Senator Menendez with the Combating Autism Reauthorization Act, Chris Smith. And one of the great things he said in one of his speeches was that we need to change the conversation from children with autism to people with autism. In our society today, that's just how we need to see things now, because these kids are growing up and we have to be ready for them once they reach adulthood. So with that, there are over 500,000 individuals who are children with autism who are going to reach adulthood within the next decade. And the emphasis is now. It's about preparing for them now and preparing for them for the future. So Autism Speaks is already making great strides in this. Since I started working with them, I've just been able to see that magnificent work they've already done in the past years. And one of the big things they've done is with the start of a transition toolkit to help individuals within our community. And the transition toolkit, which is available on our website, autismspeaks.org, focuses on information on self-advocacy, post-secondary education, employment, community integration, housing, and residential supports. To also help in the support through Autism Speaks, we've also given over $750,000 of grants to help organizations focus on transitioning. In addition, we also have Autism Speaks Autism Treatment Network sites across the country that focus specifically on the transition to adulthood. In addition, I think one of the great resources we currently have available for our community is focused on something called the Autism Speaks Autism Response Team, which is available on our website, and there is a hotline number where anyone in our community can go and ask any question they have in terms of transition or just anything that they could possibly ever want help in. And it's a toll-free number, and it's the number's 888 Autism Too. And along with that, anyone could email us anytime at familyservices@autismspeaks.org to get any information they need to help their loved ones. As we move forward, I can say, as being an individual with autism, I'm just one lone example of what the future looks like for adults with autism. The old saying is, I'm sure many of you know, for individuals with autism, is if you've met one person with autism, you've met just that one person with autism. Our spectrum is rapidly increasing, and it's so huge, from individuals who are less severely affected to those who are more severely affected. With the numbers being what they are today, 1 in 88, and with New Jersey having the second highest prevalence of autism within the country, we owe it to our loved ones to make as much of an impact now as we can. And it's why I'm glad to be here today, and why I'm so happy Senator Menendez is doing something like this. Just to go back a little bit, growing up, I could remember being so awkward when I was a teenager. I was probably one of the more awkward teenagers you were ever going to meet, and I knew the transition was tough. And when I was in school, I was one of the only individuals with autism in my classes. So while everyone was transitioning and becoming young adults and going through the same obstacles I also was having difficulty with things like sensory integration dysfunction and sensory overload. And looking back now, I considered how hard the transition must have been for these individuals. But for a lot of someone with autism, we just owe it to them to understand that transition is hard for many individuals, but to add on to autism as well, it could be overbearing and sometimes an impossible transition for many without the needed supports. So I wish so often that everyone in the autism community could have the supports I've been able to get in my life. Many of them have been pushed because of my loving parents. My mom is here today in attendance too, and she could attest to many difficult times growing up for me. And she was willing to go out of her way, go out of pocket in many instances to make sure I would get the services. So I could say I'm a college graduate. I could say that I've lived independently. So I could say that I have a full-time job at a place I love. And it gets a little emotional too. Sorry. But with that, I see me, and then to even more personal extent, I see so many of the mentees that I have today, both individuals who are less severely affected and more severely affected. One of the biggest ones I think is my 8-year-old mentee, Jaden Weiser, and she doesn't have full speech. She had speech delays, and I just see with the numbers, with a decade from now, 500,000 individuals. She's 8, she'll be 18 in a decade, and I just want her to be able to succeed, and I want her to be able to go through life being able to accomplish her dreams and her goals. She's a magnificent cheerleader. We've highlighted her several times on the AutismSpeaks.org website, and I want her to achieve everything she can in this life. And I think I want that for just everyone, regardless of autism or not. I want everyone to progress and to have these opportunities to succeed. And whether it's legislation we could get thrown in to make that possible, whether it's just anything, this is what I think every human being on this planet deserves, the opportunity to thrive and progress, regardless of less severe to severely affected, just progress every single day and to live their dreams. I swear I never get this emotional. I'm usually free and go lucky most of the time. I'm sorry. But just like I said, at the end of the day, I wish progress for everyone. And whether it's helping individuals like myself on the spectrum have great success in pursuing education, vocational training, employment, housing, fulfilling independent lives, or anything in between, I can greatly say today that I can sleep a little bit easier knowing that Senator Menendez is here championing our cause. And on behalf of everyone again at Autism Speaks, thank you, Senator, for again making a difference. And thank you all for being here. Thank you.